Good morning, everyone. Welcome to How Birdie Helps You Safely Manage Medications in Real Time. I'm just going to give it a few moments to allow some more people to join before we get started. So again, welcome everyone. I'm Jasmine from the marketing team. We have packed today's session with everything you need to know about how Birdie can help you safely manage medications. We'll start with some quick intros and then we'll dive right into how Birdie's medication management can benefit your service. We'll also show you a live demo so you can see exactly how it works in practice. And throughout the demo, you'll also hear some testimonials from some of our partner care providers about their real world experience. And then we'll finish with some key takeaways and Q&A. So if we go to the next slide, just a few housekeeping items. We will be recording today's webinar session. Please also ask questions in the chat. You don't have to keep all your questions for the end. So please, as the session goes on, please drop in any questions throughout the session and we'll address them at the end during the Q&A. And then lastly, we'll share a follow-up, including a full recording and these slides. So if I can introduce our speaker for today, we've got Sarah Calascione, who is our Senior Product Manager, overseeing Birdie's care management product. She is our product expert here, and she's really excited to chat more about medication management. Before we go into that, kind of wanted to see where we are with the care sector today. So that we all know that the sector's challenges have reached a whole new level of intensity. Expectations are higher than ever. Resources are extra constrained. Competition is tougher. So when you can't work any harder, you have to work smarter. And are most providers answering this need? We're thinking generally no. A lot of care businesses have been struck by the curse of the Frankenplatform. So on the next slide, you'll see, I know it's past spooky season and Halloween, but the curse of the Frankenplatform still is here today. So what a Frankenplatform is that this is what happens when you bolt together all kinds of different software systems that were never designed to work as one. A lot of extra work goes into keeping these systems stitched together just to make them work. And what you want to be doing is thinking about delivering the best care possible that you can and building the best possible experience for your carers within that too. So you may have seen some information on Frankenplatforms over at Birdie the past month and about how you can slay your Frankenplatform. You might have seen some of the fun games we came out with. But in the next slide, speaking of slaying your Frankenplatform, how does Birdie actually help you do that? So the answer is working smarter, not just harder. So number one, that's getting everyone and everything working together. So we bring your care management, scheduling, and finance together all in one system so that you can save time, reduce mistakes, and keep everyone on the same page. Number two, you can see everything and miss nothing. So you can see your entire care operation at a glance, so you can spot issues early, respond quickly, and prove your quality with real evidence. Last but not least, never feel alone again. Flock is something that you can all join for free today. Our community is a safe space for providers with almost 3,000, actually we've surpassed 3,000 members at the Care Show. So there's a lot of great conversations and resources happening in that space. Birdie also provides you with strategic and technical support that you and your team need. And Birdie is made up of 5 product domains, 3 interfaces, and 3 promises. There is seamless communication across all these areas. We haven't bought different parts of platforms and we build everything ourselves, which means that everything updates instantly, which you'll see in the demo shortly. So that's just a quick intro on who Birdie is, if you're new to us. Now I'll hand it over to Sarah, who will share more about how Birdie helps you safely manage medications in real time.
Thanks, Jasmine. Hello, everybody. My name's Sarah, and I wanted to kick it off now with a poll and to ask the question, where does your care agency lose the most time and money in the current medication process? So the first answer is chasing paper or phone calls to verify details with a GP or client's family, tracking down carers to confirm they've delivered the meds on time, hours spent auditing logs and MAR charts to spot non-compliance, or if there's if other is your answer, please specify, write it in the chat. We'd love to hear kind of where are the pain points in this process, and where can we help? Okay, so I think, yeah, put it in there should be a poll. Oh, yeah, there you go. You can answer now in the poll, and so we can take a look. Yeah, looks like there's a bit of a spread. Yeah, all of them. Yeah, a lot of pain points related to this space. Great. Well, thank you so much for sharing. This is really helpful for us. And let's see now how Birdie helps to support your agencies across these typical pain points with medication management. Okay, so at Birdie, we focus on 3 key areas to provide you with complete peace of mind. So the first is we enable safe and efficient planning. So this starts with giving you the right information from the very beginning. You can create schedules by searching the official NHS medications directory to ensure accuracy and reduce transcription errors when you're putting in the medication. And also with our GP Connect integration, you can get instant access to client medical records, which saves valuable time. Second, we ensure seamless real-time delivery. Because Birdie is an all-in-one platform, not a Frankenplatform, your agency hub and the carer app are perfectly in sync. So your care professionals can see exactly what's needed and record outcomes in the moment, and that information is visible back in the office instantly. So any issues like missed medication will raise an immediate alert so you can be responsive. And third, we provide effortless and accurate auditing. So all of that real-time information flows directly into our electronic MAR chart or EMAR. And this gives you an accurate at-a-glance view of all medication activity, really allowing you to easily audit records and maintain full control. So this includes the power of data as well through Birdie Analytics and reporting. So that helps you keep on top of everything going on in your whole organization, not just for one client as well. But the best way to understand the impact of all of this is to see it in action. So I'm going to share my screen now and take over screen share. Here we go. And for this demo, I'm logged into our agency hub as a care manager, and we're going to walk through a typical kind of end-to-end medication flow. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do is add in any details related to your client's health that would be really important. So you can add in any allergies they may have, their doctor's details, and most importantly, toggle whether or not you provide their medication support. And this is a really crucial step to indicate to Birdie that you are responsible for administering the medication. So now we're going to go ahead and schedule a new medication, and we're going to search for it here. So as I start typing, you'll notice that Birdie is searching the official NHS medications directory in real time. And this is a direct integration, meaning it's always up to date, and it is your first line of defense against transcription errors, or if like me, got poor spelling. So I'm going to be adding in this medication that I've selected here. And then once I've selected the medication, you can see that I can then set up the schedule. So you can choose whether to administer it, assist, or prompt, depending on the needs of the client and the kind of care that they need with it. So I'm going to set it up as administer in this case. And then you have an option to have it as scheduled or PRN, so which means as available as required. So this is a key distinction that the carer will be able to see in the app. So more on that later. But yeah, we can either specify as a PRN or scheduled. And in this case, I'm going to put it down as scheduled. So I can put in the dose that I want for this medication. So you can see here that the information I'm putting in is in a very structured way. And this means that it's really easy for the carer to see what medication do I need to give, when and how. And it captures it all in a really structured and make sure nothing is missed. So if it's free text, that makes it much harder to make sure you've got consistency in the medication information. So I'm going to say this is now taken daily, once a day. And then you're given the option of the timing of the medication. You can either give a time period, which is more around sort of morning, lunch, afternoon, evening, like if it's not, if it doesn't have to be a specific time. Although we do recommend adding an exact time for the dose, as it makes it super clear to the carer when the medication should be administered. So in this case, I'm going to put the time of dose for 11:15. I'm going to add the schedule. Okay. And then hit continue. So for something like a cream, verbal instructions can be a bit ambiguous. So we actually have a body map feature here that eliminates that ambiguity. So I can click precisely on the area of the body where that medication needs to be applied and add specific instructions. So here I'm going to click on the left hand and actually want to have the whole hand it to be applied, rub in completely across whole hand. You can add in whatever detail is necessary for the carer, so it's nice and clear. And then save. And then this visual instruction will then be available in the carer app and to make the instructions as safe as possible. So I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. And then confirm instructions, create schedule, and there we go. So don't just take my word for it. Let's hear from Katie at Kingsway Care about the difference that this method of scheduling medications through Birdie makes a difference for them.
Hello, I'm Katie. I'm the Compliance and Audit Lead at Kingsway Care. What I really like about Birdie is how we record a medication. So previously in our old system, if a PRN medication was not required, the carers would have to go into the system and manually put that the medication was not required. And the issue with this was that there were several other codes that they could choose from, and they would end up selecting the wrong code, which would then result in numerous medication recording errors. However, since we've moved to Birdie, it's not applicable. So for instance, if the client obviously doesn't want to take the medication, Birdie will automatically recognise that the medication hasn't been given and automatically generate that the medication was not required. So for us, that has made a huge difference, and it has significantly reduced our medication recording error rate, which is fantastic because it saves us time when it comes to the medication audit. But not only that, it means that we're compliant, which is brilliant.
Thanks, Katie. And another really important aspect as well is if you're ever unclear that you've captured all of the medications that your client does actually need, we really recommend that you check GP Connect. And I know a couple of you in the chat have even mentioned how useful GP Connect has been so far. So another quick poll in the audience: are you currently using GP Connect today? We'll see some of the answers. Cool. And just while we're waiting for those answers to come in, for those of you that do have access within Birdie, you can find it on the client tab, and you'll see a button that says go to GP Connect. But okay. Yeah. So we've got a mixture. So again, for those of you that are using it, that's awesome. For those of you that aren't, we have a whole webinar on using GP Connect, how it works, how to get access, and it talks you all through the onboarding process. So we'll make sure that there's a link to that sent out after this webinar. But the great news is that it is all included in Birdie packages using care management. There's no extra fee. So we really, really recommend you get access to it and start using it. To really help ensure that you've got all the right medication records in Birdie and for your client. Okay, so now what I want to do is show you what it looks like for the carer checking into a visit in the carer app and recording that medication information. So I'm going to share my screen again and show you what it looks like in the app. So here we are in Greg Jones's profile. So this is in the carer app now. I've already checked in as a care professional, and right away you can see the medications that are in here. Oops. Perfect, there we go. You can see the medication that I just refreshed, and so the medication I just scheduled in the agency hub is also visible here. And you can see the PRNs in the top right hand corner are in a separate section. So actually for Greg, I did have a paracetamol PRN where the client, if the client tells you they're in pain, then I would sort of administer that medication. But scheduled in is in a different section. So you can see the difference there for the carer. The carer knows kind of where they need to go for which medication. So if I now come back to the medication list, now the carer does have to provide an observation against each of these medications before checking out. And actually, I'm going to show you what happens if I try and check out without having, let me check in first. I'll do that quickly. I'm checked in. So if I try and check out without completing the medications, you can see that the app actually prompts them and says, no, you need to record an outcome for each medication before checking out. So it prompts it there. So if I now were to go back and say, okay, great, I need to record something against the medications, I'm going to show you what happens when I record. So firstly, we have this one as fully taken. That's great. Taken with meal, add notes. And then let's say for the cream, I'm going to give an answer. Well, firstly, you can see the information here that's been put in that the carer can see. You can see the body map visualization that you had in the agency hub now coming through to the carer apps. They know exactly where to put the cream. And now I'm going to record the dose. And in this case, I'm going to say it's not taken. And the reason for this is missing medication. Let's say that so I can't find the medication in the house. So what I want to do is show you what happens. So I've put in there that it's not taken, and what happens back in the office. So just remember that the app, this actually has an offline mode. So if I was in a location with no signal, the app caches all of that information and holds it and then syncs with the agency hub when I'm back online. So I'm now going to move my screen to the agency hub again. Cool. I'm back in the agency hub. So what I want to do now is go to the client feed, and you can see right away there's an alert here that has come through to the agency hub to say medication not taken. So Greg's cream was not taken, missing medication, I can't find the medication in the house. So that happens instantly, and it's that seamless real-time integration between the carer app and the agency hub. And so what that means is the care manager can investigate and respond immediately. So let's say the care manager now calls the carer and actually has a bit of context, like, oh, I know where that medication is in the house, and they can let them know and make sure that they actually go ahead and complete an outcome, a positive outcome for that medication. So next I'm going to go to the EMR for the complete picture. So you can go here, and actually you can see already that the outcomes that have been given for the medication are in the EMR here. So you can see fully taken and not taken, and we didn't have anything for the PRN. So to close the loop, let's say that the carer, as I said, the care manager spoke to the carer, told them where to find that medication, and then they administered it. So the care manager in the office can actually override or update this, this outcome. So we can say outcome is now fully taken. Medication found in bathroom cupboard, save. And crucially, you'll see that Birdie maintains a full audit history. So you can see who made the change and when, ensuring that your records are not only accurate, but fully accountable. So my name comes up both times because I'm both the carer and the care manager. But if it's the carer's name, as they were checked in, would say it originally wasn't taken and the reason, alert was generated, and then it was fully taken with the reasons behind that as well. So you've got all of that context there for your auditing. So this real-time visibility is a huge advantage for our partners. So we actually have Hayley from Lima Home Care share a story about how this exact feature made a difference. So we'll just show a quick testimonial. Perfect. So she shared that the real-time visibility has been one of the biggest advantages of Birdie. So we can see medication alerts or missed doses as soon as they happen, which allows us to take immediate action. So for example, we recently received a message that the client's medication stock was running low. So you can raise that as a concern within the Birdie app, and that creates an alert. And because we saw it straight away in Birdie, we were able to contact the pharmacy and the family the same day, preventing a missed dose. And so that level of responsiveness simply wasn't possible before, and has made a real difference in keeping our clients safe and supported. And so thank you to Hayley. So before we finish the demo, I want to show you two key medication reports in Birdie Analytics. So while the EMR is perfect for looking at individual clients, these reports give you a strategic bird's eye view of what is actually happening in your agency. So if I just share again, okay. So this report gives you a view of any medication that was expected to be taken, but wasn't. And this allows you to spot patterns. So are certain carers repeatedly not delivering medication, or are there certain clients that are regularly refusing? And that's really important information to be able to take longer term action based on this data and really get to the root cause. And then second, this report shows you a numerical indication of medication tasks completed. So if you have KPIs as an agency against medication completion, then this is where you can come and track against those at a higher level. So you've got here percentage of medication tasks completed last month, or percentage of clients where they had 90% of medication tasks completed, or you might want to have it at 95% or 100% that you can track against. And then you can drill down to see exactly what was missed and why. So it's one thing for me to show you how these reports work, but it's another to hear directly again from a care provider who uses them every day. So I will hand over then to our lovely partner, Steve from Essential Home Care, who's going to talk about how analytics has helped his agency.
So we regularly get 100% on our medications audit, but what it will do is when we run that report, it will also highlight any clients that have below 100%. So we had one recently that was 99, and then what it does, it prompts you to do an investigation into what, where that 1% is. And in this instance, it was a client that had one medication in one particular visit, but it was cancelled because the client had gone into hospital and wasn't available that afternoon. So it's just good in that sense that, it shows kind of, a clear pathway into that investigation and why it was at 99%, and then we can download that particular MAR, put it into the client documents, make an entry on audit that it's been checked and that's the reason why. And it's just really good Regulation 17, isn't it? It's just crystal clear for anyone that needs to look at that, like an inspector, a local authority, for example. So yeah, it's really good.
It is always powerful to hear the real world impact, and I love hearing it every time. So to quickly recap, Birdie gives you a one single platform that connects every stage of the medication management process, and from safe, accurate planning using tools like the NHS directory, seamless real-time updates from the Carer app, and effortless auditing with the email. And so now I will hand back to Jasmine for our Q&A.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sarah, for leading us through that demo. Yeah, please put in your questions. We've got about like 5 minutes or so that we'll try to get through as many as we can. Let's see, we'll probably focus on more of the ones on medication management. Sarah, I'm seeing here, can you use, oh, sorry, wrong one. That's about GP Connect. How do you set timing alerts for medications? Is that something that we can do within Birdie?
Yes, you can do that. You can do that in your settings. So you can set a time frame after the medication should have been, admit the exact time medication to be alerted for. But certainly if there hasn't been a medication observation by the end of the visit, when the visit should have ended, then you'll get an alert saying visit plan not completed, meaning that, it's almost like a catch-all that you can ensure that any medications that should have had an observation against it, they haven't checked out in that time frame, that will be alerted as well.
Great. And maybe coming off the back of the report you just showed, does the report replace auditing? Thoughts?
Does it replace auditing? I would say the answer is no, it doesn't replace auditing, but it certainly is a very helpful and important input to your audits. So the more we want to make sure that you've got the data at your fingertips to be able to take a look and just see how that medication is being managed across your agency for a given client, and then drill down into the reasons behind, for example, a medication not being administered on a given day, or if there's a trend that you can spot. So yeah, but it's a useful input to that. Equally, the MAR chart, you can actually download the MAR chart to PDF. And so that you could use that over a given time period. You can just track for a given client what their medication outcomes were as well as an input to that.
Great. I think there's some questions on maybe PRNs. Sometimes carers are not signing Ooh, lots of questions coming in. Sorry, losing my spot here. Sometimes carers are not signing PRN. How can I make sure this is not missed? I have added a task to offer PRN and reminding them to sign the EMAR.
Yeah, that's a great way of doing it. I mean, certainly, so as you saw in the Carer app, if there are any PRNs against for a client, it has a brackets with a number of how many, so the carer will know that there is a PRN there waiting for them as needed. But if you wanted to actually call it out and just have the carer check to make sure at the beginning of every single visit whether or not the client needs that medication that day, there is a task that you can add to the visit to prompt that as well.
Still some more on PRNs. Let's see. Can this function be turned on for PRNs? This might have been during the demo. I'm not sure exactly which feature it's referring to. Let's see. I'm having some issues with PRN. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sarah, if you actually know.
Yeah, oh no, I was going to say I've seen quite a few questions come in about medications that are not in the search bar. So yes, as I mentioned, that's a direct integration with the NHS database, and so the important thing is to raise that. Ideally, also if you can raise it with the GP and to make sure that we've got the right titles of the medication. GP Connect is another good one to use as well because they use the same database, so you can make sure that you've got exactly the right phrasing, the right brand name, and the right dose, like there's some like milligrams, for example. But do write in if it's still not there right now. Customer support, and sometimes we can reach out on your behalf. And do it that way. Otherwise, if it's something that's just not in the NHS database, you can use the administer medication task. But yeah, we certainly want to try and get it into the database if it's a registered medication that's in the that's being prescribed by the NHS.
Great. And I think we might have time for one more question. Not sure if you see anything that's shouting out at you, Sarah, in the chat. Still some more on PRNs. We'll address kind of GP Connect separately in our emails. You'll learn more about that. Okay. Oh, yeah. If you want to restate one of the questions, Sarah. Go ahead.
No, I'm not sure I can see one. Sorry.
Requires PRNs to be marked physically now.
Oh, okay. So in the apps, if you were to go into the PRN and you wanted to demonstrate that it had been administered, then you can click on it and it would have, you could provide an outcome just like one of the scheduled medications. So it would come up as having been administered on that day in the same way it would have been for scheduled. But what it doesn't do is then if it's not administered on a certain day, it doesn't provide an alert because we know it's as needed, it's not scheduled, meaning it doesn't have to be administered that day. But certainly you can, if you click administer for the PRN, that will come through and it will show up on the MAR chart as well as taken on that day.
Hey, great. Thank you so much. I think that's all the time that we have. If we could just bring up the last slide. Again, thank you, Sarah, for that fantastic demo, and thank everyone in the audience for your brilliant questions. We hope that you can now see that having a single connected platform for medication management can save you time, reduce risk, and ultimately help you deliver the safest care possible. So keep an eye on your inbox. We'll be sending out a follow-up email. It will include a recording of today's session for you to rewatch or to share with your team. We'll also include the GP Connect onboarding information and resources that were mentioned today. Also in that follow-up email for our current partners, you'll find a sign-up link for our newly refreshed quality and audit management webinar. It's happening on the 27th of November. I know we only touched a little bit on medication auditing today, but that partner-specific webinar is a dedicated product training session designed to help you get the most out of the platform. So find out more about us at birdie.care and flock.care. Thank you so much again for joining us today and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, everyone. Thank you.